Before you listen to me, listen to this. This is the Builder's Edition Taylor 914 CE, which is a brand new addition to the Builder's Edition lineup, coming in as the flagship of that range now. Very, very quickly, what the Builder's Edition is in the Taylor lineup, it's essentially their top of the pile kind of guitars. It's certainly all the best woods that they're using, the best builders are in there, all the most magnificent little attention to detail bits are put onto those guitars, some of them which I will cover in this video. But to preface this, before I start getting into the details with this, a lot of the magic with these guitars is kind of about seeing it in person and really seeing those details for yourself. Really good analogy that actually Aaron in the room told me that it really kind of feels like with these guitars. It's almost like you listen to a band on a CD, but when you see them live, it's a completely different just experience and just can elevate that band to another sort of pedestal in your mind. And that's certainly how I feel about these Taylors. So if I've got a guitar close to you, get down to see this in person. But anyway, let's get on with the specs. So going over some of the materials that have gone into this Builder's Edition 914 CE. Not to be confused with another model that has slightly different tone woods to it. This particular model that I have in my lap today, it's got a combination of a Lutz spruce and an Indian rosewood back and sides, which I think a lot of people would agree, if they are super into their acoustics, that is the sort of ultimate pairing that you can get. It's just that level of sort of clarity that you'll get in the high ends, but then also the kind of the lower end of the rosewood, low end in terms of frequencies, obviously, that you'll get from the rosewood. It's such a classic pairing and just sound. I think you'll agree, even just from that intro, how nice this acoustic sounds. Now, of course, the woods are just the highest grade that Taylor have at their disposal. If you want to check out what that looks like, we actually had a great trip to Taylor where we got all the behind the scenes from the guys that are running the factory. We've even got a lot of behind the scenes footage of their conservation projects and all that sort of stuff as well. So do click the link above my head to check out that playlist of that mini documentary there. But back to this guitar. There is another colour option in this as well, but again, I just chose to go for the natural one you can get. It is kind of honey sunburst sort of colour as well, which just looks absolutely stunning. Much like a lot of the other Taylors as well, this has the V-Class system bracing in it as well, which just really helps that resonant sort of sound out of it. Now, without looking, because I'll touch on some of the greater details just in a second as well, but we're looking at just, again, your kind of standard parts of this guitar. It has an ebony tailpiece here, along with some ebony pins, and that along with the ebony board that Taylor use on all of their other guitars as well, but this just being that slightly higher grade. And I think just looking at it, it's some of the darkest ebony that I have seen in a while as well, so any purists for that will absolutely love it. Moving on to the headstock as well, it does have the 3-side tuning pegs there as well, and these are Goto 510 button tuners, which I think just even in terms of feel wise, they are very precise and they feel great when you do need to tune. And certainly with having this guitar sat kind of getting used to the room here, I've not had to do too much tuning adjustments on it, which is always a plus. Now, before I check out some of the finer details of this guitar, particularly when it comes to some of the aesthetic and the build choices of it, I just want to show you just how resonant this thing is and how just your chords, particularly if you kind of strum something and you just let it bloom a little bit, just how lovely this thing sounds and just how you can kind of like hear the sound evolving as you play it. So I'm just going to strike just a couple of chords here and you'll be able to hear it exactly. Really good if you used headphones for this as well, because you'll properly hear just almost kind of like a natural vibration. I'm going to stop talking now. One thing I think a lot of people really like about Taylors is just that projection and the clarity and the brightness that comes from them, and certainly this guitar has got that in absolute spades. But of course, much like all other Taylors as well, you do have the Expression 2 system in here, so it is an electroacoustic guitar. All the controls are just up the top here, just your 3 dials. Now, anyone who has heard that pickup system knows it sounds amazing, and it's really it sounds like a very natural acoustic guitar too. So rest assured that if you are plugging this thing in, it is going to sound absolutely stunning. But I think where a lot of the magic comes from is when it is just played acoustically. So when it comes to the finer details of this guitar, as I've mentioned, this is kind of where a lot of the magic comes from. Certainly with the Builder's Edition, there's all just these little attention to detail parts which just kind of set it a class above certainly some of the other guitars. Now, by all means, completely honestly, this isn't going to adjust, affect your playing. This isn't going to particularly affect the sound or anything like that. But if you do like your guitar to look just that little bit extra fancy, a little bit more bougie, then I think you're going to be really, really into this. Particularly when it comes to the purfling around the body there. It is a mix of wood and abalone, or mother of pearl, sorry, and pawa. I'm sure I'm saying that completely wrong there as well, but it's all the sparkly stuff on the guitar there, giving it its official name of sparkly stuff. And then around the rosette as well, has actually got koa in there as well, along with the fancy sparkly stuff, pawa as well. That is highlighted on the back. You may have seen that when I did turn the guitar around, just for you to see the rosewood, but you can see that is around the back there as well. We do have these absolutely stunning floret inlays as well, which are all mother of pearl, and it's also got a koa binding just beside the edge there, which is actually this really nice black colour, which actually makes your fret markers kind of stand out just that little bit as well. So if you do struggle to see them, you are going to not have a problem with that. A couple of other things, and something that I really like what Taylor does, is they have these bevels on their guitars, in the sound hole there, and no, sorry, in the cutaway there, just if you do need to get up to that top end. But particularly where your arm rests, there's just this lovely, lovely shelf that is just really, really smooth to the touch. And if that's where your arm naturally goes with the guitar, whether it be the top of your arm or your forearm or anything like that, you're not going to have any pain in your arm or any sort of irritation or anything, because it's really, really smooth, and also just really, really stunning to sit and play for ages. And I think that's a really important thing with this guitar, is just how comfy it is to play, along with obviously all the fancy parts of it. And you've got really nice rolled fingerboard edges on the fretboard as well, so hand position and everything on here is going to be completely fine wherever you are. It's got that kind of traditional, kind of skinny Taylor neck as well, so you're not finding you're needing to grip particularly big on it or anything like that. But again, the big thing about this guitar really is you need to see it in person. Is I can run down every sort of part of it in terms of all the attention to detail and all the fancy bits they put in, but again, you need to see this thing in person, and these cameras can really pick up so much with all the stunning parts that have gone into this guitar. So I'm just going to play a little bit more on it, because I think the sound is what really matters for this demo. So let's do that right now. So that was just a few examples of the sounds that you can get out of the Builder's Edition 914 CE. As I mentioned, if you're anywhere close to a guitar, I would really recommend you going down and even just seeing a guitar like this in person. It's absolutely stunning when you've actually got it properly in front of you. And certainly if you are a fan of these higher end, almost kind of, you know, kind of custom, I mean, this is the kind of Taylor custom shop. Their Builder's Edition is a lot of, you know, this is the highest sort of grade that you can get out of the Taylor factory, and this being their new flagship as well, as I think you can kind of feel how proud they are of it, just in terms of all the parts that have went into it. So if this is any interest to you, please go down and check it out. But let me know what you think in the comments down below about this brand new Builder's Edition 914 CE. And while you're there, give us a like and a subscribe, because it does really help the channel and we super appreciate it. But until next time, I've been Keiran, and this has been a quick look at the Taylor Builder's Edition 914 CE Natural. Have a great day.